This portion of On the Record brought to you by Executive Printers of the Bahamas Limited. We print profits for you.
Welcome back to On the Record. This segment is made possible by Executive Printers. Prime Minister Hubert Minnis announcing in his most recent news conference that as of Friday, April 17th, the National Insurance Board processed over 14,600 unemployment claims and paid out approximately $7 million in unemployment benefits. NIB is said to be working to process an additional 5,000 applications, and there are more to come. My guest for this segment is the Director of the National Insurance Board, Dr. Nicola-Virgill. Rolle. Welcome back to On the Record.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Good to have you in this role. Let's dive right in. Tell us about those who have been able to receive their contributions and benefits made available by the government under this emergency crisis.
So we recognize that the National Insurance Board had to really transform its operations in order to meet this demand. We typically take in about 1,500 or so applications per month, amounting to about 6,000, 7,000 or so per year. But we recognize that we would have about 18,000 applications coming in a short period of time. So we had to transform our operations. And so what we've done is we've worked with many of the major employers, and we've worked to develop a system where you can email in your applications, and so it's already in a digitized form for us to upload to our system. And so we've been able to process so many more with using a more digitized environment. And so we've gotten out to date now, we've processed almost 18,000 applications now. So we've moved ahead since the Prime Minister's announcement, amounting to about $8.5 or so million. And so it's been a very heavy lift, but I would like to thank the staff of the National Insurance Board who've really been working around the clock to make this happen.
You described it as a heavy lift. How quickly did you have to get these things in place, and what kinds of things did you have to employ almost immediately to be 18,000? That's a lot of things, a lot of folks to process.
Yes, and so we just had to meet as an executive team to think about our operations, think about what we're doing well, think about what wasn't working in order to transform the operation. So as I mentioned, we've been very paper-based in the past, and it's been very much come and visit us, submit your application in hard copy, we'll scan this application, we'll take your details, we'll call you back if anything is missing, and then we will process, and then call you back as well when we've done with the process. And so we had to just look at that whole stream of activities and say, well, we need to get these emailed into us as a first attempt, and we know we can do better. We can build portals as well, which we're working on, in order to process things faster. Now, we had to also administer another program, the Government Unemployment Assistance Program, which is separate from our benefits program. And so because that was a new program, within 6 days, our programmers in our IT department were able to stand up a fully operational portal, which even went beyond what we could do with our benefits program, because everything was already an online portal, digitized, and you interacted directly with our database.
Let's talk about the different contributions and benefits that are existing for those who've been affected by the crisis. I want to first talk about regular unemployment benefits.
Yes. So the regular unemployment benefit it's a benefit. It's something you've paid into as part of your contributions that you've paid into NIB. It's for employed persons, so self-employed persons are excluded from that benefit. And so it's something where you have paid 9.8% divided between employer and the employee, and it's a benefit that you've earned. It comes about because you've worked a sufficient amount of time. So 52 weeks is the minimum contribution, so you need to have been working to contribute to this. You've also worked 7 out of the last 13 weeks and 13 out of the last 26 weeks. And so we wanted something where you're recently in the system. So that's what it's designed for. And it looks, our system looks and makes sure that those eligibility requirements are there, and then it's able to process you and pay you 50% of your insurable wage. So the insurable wage ceiling is $670 per week, and so you are eligible for up to that amount, depending on what your salary is.
And those are the persons who were contributing?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So let's talk about government-funded unemployment assistance for self-employed persons.
So the government recognized that there are a whole number of persons who are not employed in terms of working for somebody else. They are self-employed entrepreneurs who are contributing to the economy but did not benefit from the unemployment benefit of NIB. And so the government set up a fund between $6 and $10 million in order to provide for unemployment assistance. It's $200 per week up to 8 weeks for persons in the tourism sector, and it's $200 per week during the shutdown for those who are outside of the tourism sector.
Okay, and finally, the unemployment benefit for self-employed persons.
Yes, so that's the self-employed one, which is part of the assistance. So it is not something that you have paid into. This is additional to your what you've paid into national insurance. It is a true assistance, meaning that it's not something you've earned. It's a program created specifically by the government, paid for by the government out of additional tax dollars.
So a lot of these individuals who are receiving